Have you taken on more than you can reasonably do in about 3 discretionary hours a day? Well, if you've done that, we're going to talk about it today because you have 3 choices to resolve that conflict. So let's get right into it, and we're going to cover just 3 options you have when you have more tasks to do in a day in discretionary time than you can get done. So I'm going to use 3 hours as our measuring stick. Discretionary time. This is time that you're not at work, you're not sleep, you're not driving, you're not cooking, you're not eating, you're not doing all of those things in life that we often have to do and most of us do most every day. So let's just use 3 discretionary hours a day. So let's just jump into what are your choices? What can you do? Well, the first thing you can do is you can automate the task. What do I mean by automate the task? Meaning if it is on a computer, on a tablet, on a phone, you can use automation to get the task done. Multiple choices. I'm going to use Apple products because that's what I use. If you're on an iPhone, for example, you could create shortcuts, Apple shortcuts, to do some of those tasks that you need to do weekly, daily, monthly. An example I have for me is I send a text message to a group of people every week at the same time. I know by the time that text message goes out, my pre-work that they will need as their input is finished. I've completed it, so when they go to look for the information that they need to execute their task, it's done. What does that do? I don't have to remember to send the message every week because it's already written, it's scheduled, and and Apple Shortcuts is going to send it out. Number 2, I did the work once and I don't have to do it again unless I choose to change something. Number 3, I know what time that message is going to go out. I've completed my portion before then. So automation can happen in a number of ways. You can use text expansion software. You can use s- uh, scripting software. You can use Apple shortcuts. And when I say scripting software, I mean something like a Keyboard Maestro application or a Alfred application on your device. So use software, find those tasks mainly around communication and updating information, and automate. Just get it out of your way so you don't have to be thinking about it, and it happens on a scheduled basis the way you expect it to happen. So that's number 1. Automation is key. Number 2 is you can delegate. In automation, let me just say this. Automation is a form of delegation, but I'm saying delegate to another human, another person who will take on a task and they're willing to do it and they can do it, whether it be a family member, whether it be a friend, whether it be an employee, whether it be a contractor that you outsource to, but delegate some of the tasks that you do on a regular basis. Maybe it's a volunteer in a volunteer organization, something that you can hand someone to do. It's under your purview, but they're executing. My example is I have some meetings that I run in a volunteer organization every week. I've asked one of the members of the group to be responsible for taking the notes and posting that the notes are ready every week. It falls under my area of responsibility, but I've delegated it to somebody who agreed to take that on, and the person is carrying it through. So, delegation is a big one. Choose those tasks that you can delegate. And I will say this, when you go to delegate, and we can talk about it in more detail in a later video, but when you go to delegate, delegate something very specific that the person can do, and you're willing to train the person how to execute the task and get the quality that you want to get. So, delegation is number two. The third thing you can do is simply eliminate task. When you look at this mountain of work that you've taken on and you've broken it down and you've thought about it, what in that list you really don't need to do. It's not going to add value to your outcome. It's not going to create a return on investment for you. It's something you picked up because you thought you should do it, or someone else told you you should do it. Eliminate it. Sometimes we're doing things because of other people, and we're not doing those tasks because they're ones that make a difference in our life. So figure out, make a list of things that you can delegate. I will share, I often will use a simple notebook like this. This is just a plain dot grid notebook. It's a simple, it's one of my journals. You can get it at my site, but it's a plain grid notebook. You don't need anything complicated. And sit down and look at what are the things that fit into either of these categories. What are the tasks that fit into either of these categories? Tasks that I do that I can automate, tasks that I have that I can delegate, and tasks that I have that I can eliminate. And then start working through them one by one to execute on the decision that you make. Whatever it is, whether you're going to do one, two, or all three, do it without hesitation, without delay. Get those tasks under control for this 3 hours of discretionary time that you have. Now, let me just say this may be a little extra. I am not talking about procrastinating, something I can do really, really well, but I'm not talking about procrastinating. I'm talking about making decisions about these areas of your life where you have these tasks and they need to get done or they don't need to get done. But do one of those three things, and I will see you in the next video where we dive deeper into this topic. So, video is going to pop up. Watch it, and I'll see you over there.